Okay, so far I have recorded 4 videos and 2 of them did not have audio. So this is number 5. Hopefully the audio works. Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie. It's nice to meet you if you're new to my channel. I like to explore mindful musicianship and I like to share my music on this channel. I just wanted to talk a little bit about my own musical background because I get a lot of questions and I get a lot of very nice comments from people, and I thought I should be pretty transparent about what my background is and my education and what stuff did I figure out on my own. So this is the story of my musical journey. So let's start in childhood. I was a little kid and I had a tiny little Radio Shack keyboard, and I figured out how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb on it. I figured out Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Just some really simple songs, and I even made up some songs on my own. I always really liked piano music and I always really liked classical music. I would listen to classical music on the radio as my alarm clock. I felt like I didn't relate very well to pop music because I felt like the singers would use language that I wasn't using. They weren't speaking the same way. They would say things like ain't, and my mom wouldn't let me say ain't. So I was like, why is this on the radio? I don't want to listen to the words I can't say. So I loved classical music, and I loved orchestral music, and I loved piano music, and I really, really wanted to learn how to read music. When I was 9 years old in 4th grade, I went to my friend's house after school, and she took piano lessons, and my mom asked me if I wanted to take piano lessons too. And I said, oh yeah, I do. So I started piano lessons. We didn't have a piano at home, but I got a slightly bigger keyboard. I don't think it had full-size keys. I don't think it could have even played like 4 notes at once. I think it was that kind of keyboard. I took piano lessons from 4th grade with the same teacher from 4th grade all the way through my senior year of high school. I'm gonna go off a little bit on a tangent on the piano. I loved my teacher. I loved that she was great at teaching the language of music. She did not teach things like how to practice. She just said, you have to practice. And I didn't know what that meant. I quite honestly didn't understand what practicing really was until college. I think that's important to know because I eventually in high school got really discouraged when I was trying to play these hard pieces, like ragtime style stuff, where I just couldn't do it and I didn't know why, and I just thought, well, I guess this is just as good as I'm gonna be. I had a fixed mindset about that. That was very hard to get over. However, the residual piano skills that I still have served me very well as a band teacher because I love accompanying my students on keyboard. It really feels good to them to be able to listen. Anyway, so halfway through my 4th grade year, I joined the band in my elementary school. Now, here's something that's also very important to know. I grew up in a very, very small town, like 2,000 people. But there might be some people on this that are like, oh, that's not that small. But, you know, there were no traffic lights. There were no sidewalks or street lights. It was a very small rural town. It was hard to get to. So if there was going to be a music program, that person was not going to be working full-time teaching music in this town. And that was hard for us as students, because what that meant was I started band in 4th grade, and there was a new person teaching band in 5th grade, and a new person teaching band in 6th grade, and a new person teaching band in 7th grade, and 8th grade was when I finally had one person twice, and she was mostly a history teacher. She taught band and choir and real subjects. I played the clarinet, and I gosh darn tried. It's hard to get better when there's constantly a new person coming in and everything starts from square one every time. And now that I've been teaching for 7 years, I have to say I've experienced that from the teaching point of view too. I tried to be someone who could be a consistent presence in a small town music teaching environment, and it's difficult. So I highly commend the people that can stick with a rural music teaching job. It is not easy. It's really, really hard. Something else that's important to know is that there was no high school in the town I grew up in. So I had no concept of what band actually was. Like, I'd never seen a marching band when I joined band in elementary. I'd never seen older people making music all at once with different instruments. I played clarinet. I got pretty good. Maybe, I don't know. I got as good as I could get, which is all anyone can do, right? I did not do band my freshman year of high school because I saw that high school had art class and I'd never seen art offered before, so I wanted to take art. And there's no regret there. I loved art in high school. I took 3 years of art in high school, and I took 3 years of band because I joined back up in 10th grade. And to my surprise, the skills came back fast, and I was really pleased with that. I played clarinet in 10th grade. By the end of 10th grade, my sister had been gifted a cornet from my grandpa, and I always tell my students this story. She took it out of the case and played it for one day, and then she put it back in the case and never touched it again for like a month. And I was like, I want to play that. So I took it out of her room and I learned how to play it. By the way, a cornet is like a trumpet. It's a different instrument, but it's played like a trumpet. It has a similar sound, but it's not the same. So I learned how to play it, and I decided that I wanted to play in the jazz band in high school. Being, again, from a small town, I had never seen a jazz band before. And so when I saw that my high school had one and I saw them perform, I was like, what? A band plays cool music here? I was like, I want to play that music. That looks cool. I pretty much learned trumpet so that I could play in the jazz band. A logical person would have said, hey, Stephanie, play the saxophone. But I did not like saxophones, and I still really don't. So trumpet it was. Also, there was a cute boy that played trumpet. Anyway, I went through 11th grade and 12th grade playing clarinet mostly in the concert band and playing trumpet in the jazz band, and I really like that. I do play baritone ukulele in my videos as well, so let's talk about how that came into being. Again, my sister had one, and I stole it from her room and learned how to play it. And that was in 2003. Yeah, I feel like that was before ukuleles became cool. In a way, that makes me like a hipster. And I didn't know any of the chords, but I figured out G, C, and D7 because I figured out that they sounded good. So I just played those chords forever. I'm sure I drove my family crazy just doing that for like 3 years. I was the first person in my family to go to college. My parents did not go to university, so I was new to this experience and didn't know what to expect. And I got a scholarship for being a music major. I got 2 scholarships. My plan was like, okay, I'm gonna be a music major for a year, and then I'm gonna switch to art, because I really wanted to be a storybook illustrator. But it turns out that I was good at music, so I just stayed with the music major. I think that when I was 18 or so, I didn't realize that I could be good at anything. I think that my self-esteem was not such that I knew what my capabilities were. I thought maybe I won't be that good of a music major and I'll switch to art because I know I'll be good at art. But it turned out that I was good at music, and I was really good at theory. I was really good at music theory. And I had that baritone ukulele where so every time I learned about like, oh, a 6th chord, I would try to figure out what the 6th chord was in each key on the ukulele. I think that is when I started writing songs. I continued playing trumpet, but my main instrument was clarinet. I was a clarinet performance major. I secretly played trumpet in the marching band. And then eventually, you know, I got that jazz band itch again, and my 4th year, I went up and I auditioned for the jazz orchestra, the good jazz band, and I got in, and then that's when I got offered lessons by this trumpet studio teacher, and then by the end of the year he was like, you should have been a trumpet major. And I was like, oh. Again, I had this concept that I just wouldn't have been good at it. I didn't realize that I could be good at anything I wanted. I just had no concept of that. That's really weird, isn't it? Because now I teach the exact opposite thing to my students. I don't want them to be like me. I feel like I personally, because I was like that, I feel like I spent a lot of years in the dark when I could have been doing things. I went to a small state school, and that meant that the music program was not very big and therefore not that competitive. I got to the top very quickly. So I think I was in my second year when I started getting emails and invitations to perform in whatever kind of group people needed me for. So I was busy. I was very busy. I practiced a lot. I would say, because I used to actually journal and write how many hours I would play each day, I would say average, I would play about 4 hours a day. Practicing on my own, I would say average about an hour and a half to 2 hours. I would just take whatever like spare half hour I had and practice. What was I practicing for? I don't know. I honestly, like, I had no concept. I didn't know what I would be doing in the world and why. I don't know. I was not very well prepared for college. Academically, I was very well prepared for college, but knowing what college was for, no, I was not. I was not that way. But that's okay because of where I went, because I had good relationships, strong relationships with my professors, and I would go in during their office hours and just talk about stuff. I felt like that helped me a lot because it helped me understand that people had faith in me, that people knew that I could do a good job. If I hadn't done that, I don't think that I would have had the kind of success that I've had in my life after college. Because I did have a lot of very high recommendations from my professors. Going into the teaching program and going into actual teaching. I work in a town that I think is pretty big. It's about 100,000 people, and it's got 20 schools in my school district, elementary, junior high, and I think that's a lot. I think that's really big. I don't know a lot of people who came from a small place to come to this place. I know more people who came from a bigger place to get to this place. So I think that's interesting. I guess the biggest thing I've learned is that my perspective is very different, and that's important. And it's important to see things from a lot of different perspectives. I'm really glad to be where I am. I'm really glad to be in a place where my teaching can actually flourish. I can make a big difference in a bigger place, but I'm not swallowed by a huge, mass of people. It took a really long time moving to a new place to find musical situations to play in, but now I play a lot of music, a lot of trumpet, and I've been doing this YouTube thing, and it's dug up a lot of the creative tools and all that stuff that I used to just think about all the time, and I've had this opportunity now doing the YouTube thing, writing songs, to be able to explore that. I can't believe that I almost let that get buried again. I can't believe I almost let that happen. That's my story. Let me know what you think. Let me know if that has illuminated anything for you. I guess I just wanted to share that. Until next time, stay mindful, stay musical, and stay out of trouble.